Let's break down the results and go over anything that you might see. At the very top, in the header, you'll get an average score across all movements chosen. For this specific one, we chose 6 functional movements, and that's where the 79% comes from. If you need it to generate a report that's easy to print or send over to a client, you can click Generate PDF, and it'll bring up a report that you can click Email to Client or download to your phone. There's a note section if you needed to leave any about this specific assessment, as well as a summary that explains the results in an easy to understand way. If you wanted to dive deeper, you could click Chat with Borelli and ask it anything that you want it. It understands the full context of this assessment. Going into areas of concern, these are going to be any joints that score under 70% will show here, so you can start focusing on the main problems first. Exercises will be recommended from any issues found on the report as well that you could put right into our workout builder. Going into a specific movement, you'll get an average score at the top, as well as usually on the first card, you'll see mobility and stability scores. For squat, we're looking at hip, knee, and ankle mobility. Now, these scores are based on standardized ranges, and we look at how far their joints travel and compare it to those ranges. So for example, if the ankle mobility standardized range is 30 degrees and it only goes 20 degrees, then they would get a 66%. But you have full control over changing these, whether it's specifically for your client or if you wanted to create a range profile for them. Most movements will have compensations trigger. These are going to be all unique to the specific movement. Excessive forward lean is one that we look at for squat. If you click here, you'll be able to see the most likely overactive and underactive muscles, as well as squat depth for squat, just to see how far they go from starting position. Joint displacement is going to be that vertical way they tilt on average throughout the movement. The rest of the movements are going to follow that same structure of looking at mobility and stability first, compensations, and then joint displacement. There will be a few different ones. You will get left and right broken up. And then if we go over to balance, that's one of the different ones where you're looking at which way they tilt it on average first, raw data over time of the movement of the hip, shoulder, and that knee level, and then any compensations that trigger. And once again, this will be broken up left and right. Counter movement jump will be very different. You'll get your performance section first with jump height, flight time, and takeoff depth. Then we'll start looking at landing angles, initial contact meaning when they first touch to the ground, and then max knee flexion are these angles when their knees were flexed the most, absorbing that contact. Going deeper into landing mechanics, you'll get 11 points of pass or fail on how they absorbed that landing, from their foot width to how extended they were at initial contact to knee valgus. Lateral lunge will be very similar to squat, following that same structure. Same thing with overhead press. Going into the bottom, you'll get average scores across all of them. That overall one again, compensations, mobility, and stability.